Michelle Obama's speech in Michigan breaks new ground in the conversation about reproductive health by inviting men into what's long been framed as a woman's issue. But by highlighting the ripple effects, how these issues touch husbands, brothers, sons, and fathers, she makes the point clear.
So to the men who love us, let me just try to paint a picture of what it will feel like if America, the wealthiest nation on earth, keeps revoking basic care from its women, and how it will affect every single woman in your life. Your girlfriend could be the one in legal jeopardy if she needs a pill from out of state or overseas, or if she has to travel across state lines because the local clinic closed up. Your wife or mother could be the ones at higher risk of dying from undiagnosed cervical cancer because they have no access to regular gynecological care. Your daughter could be the one too terrified to call the doctor if she's bleeding during an unexpected pregnancy. Your niece could be the one miscarrying in her bathtub after the hospital turned her away. And this will not just affect women, it will affect you and your sons. The devastating consequences of teen pregnancy won't just be borne by young girls, but also by the young men who are the fathers.
Reproductive health isn't confined to women alone. It's woven into the fabric of families and communities, and therefore, it affects everyone. In calling out these ties, she reframes reproductive health not just as an issue of an individual autonomy, but as a matter of collective responsibility and societal welfare. What's powerful about Obama's approach is that she speaks to the commonality that men and women share in the bonds they form. By invoking the mother, wife, sister, daughter, she bridges empathy and responsibility, reminding men that the woman navigating reproductive health challenges could very well be someone they love deeply.
If your wife is shivering and bleeding on the operating room table during a routine delivery gone bad, her pressure dropping as she loses more and more blood, or some unforeseen infection spreads and her doctors aren't sure if they can act, you will be the one praying that it's not too late. You will be the one pleading for somebody, anybody, to do something.
It's a refreshing shift from the impersonal debates that often accompany this topic, giving a face and a story to the choices people make. In a cultural sense, Obama is pushing the envelope by breaking down traditional walls between men's issue and women's issue. When she talks about the potential for men to shoulder the burdens left behind by maternal health complications, she highlights an uncomfortable truth. Men are often affected by these outcomes, yet they rarely factor that into their views on reproductive rights and health care. It's an empathetic approach, but it's also one that calls men to action, to think not in abstract terms, but through the real-world implications of these decisions. Obama's message resonates deeply in a time where reproductive rights are contentious and polarizing. By broadening the scope of the conversation, she encourages a cultural shift in which men don't just sympathize with women, but recognize reproductive health as a shared responsibility. This perspective could signal a new era in social policy, one where reproductive health becomes a familiar matter, and where men, instead of being passive bystanders, see themselves as partners in the journey. In the end, Michelle Obama is calling on society to break down rigid boundaries, to embrace the collective stake we all have in health and well-being. It's a revolutionary reminder that no issue exists in isolation, and that real change happens only when we see ourselves as part of each other's stories.